Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to wire up a variable voltage power supply by DROK. So let's get started. Okay, when you first open the box, what you're going to see is your unit and a little baggie with wire connectors to it. I believe these are like little small fork connectors. And that's it. You're not going to get a manual. You're not going to get anything like that. Don't expect to not have any idea of what you're doing and be able to wire this up. You should definitely watch a YouTube video like this one, or read some other kind of documentation before you start this. It's a very simple unit, actually. Here are all your connections right here. On this side, this is where the AC is going to be powering the unit, and over here is your output for your DC side. And it does say voltage positive 1 and 2 and voltage negative 3 and 4. I'm going to be using voltage positive 2 and voltage negative 3 in this example. And then over here it does show a symbol for ground, a symbol for neutral, and a symbol for line. You can see it right there. And so we're going to be connecting on the L slot, we're going to be connecting the black wire of our extension cord. We're going to be connecting the white wire to the neutral, and we're going to be connecting the green wire to the ground on this side. So let's go ahead and do that first. And what I did was I've got a fairly long extension cord here. Since it's AC, you really don't have to worry about it too much. And I went ahead and crimped on these little connectors, so they are ready to go and be screwed onto these terminals on this unit. So let's go ahead and do that. First we'll take this little plastic cover off. Oh, and it just flips up. That's nice. Okay, and now like I said, we're going to put black on L and tighten it down. Put the white wire on N, tighten it down. And then the last one goes on ground. Just like that. So it should go black, white, and green in this order for this particular unit. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and close this and plug it in to see if it powers up. Okay, and just like that, I plugged it in and the unit turns on. So we have power to the unit. And right now it's showing 25.8 volts with 0 amps. And these two knobs right here, they are what control the voltage and the amperage. So when you turn this knob, you can see that the voltage goes down. Okay, so what we want to do, now that we have it set to 0 and 0, the beautiful part about this is that you can set your voltage from anywhere from 0 to 60 volts on this unit for DC. And your amperage can be 0 to 8 amps. So you can use this in a whole variety of applications. For instance, I have individual lithium iron phosphate cells right here. So what I'm going to do is set this to 3.65 volts and charge up one of these cells. I can also use this unit if I want to charge up a 12 volt, 24 volt, or 48 volt battery. And what would be really nice about it is if it will wake up a lithium iron phosphate battery that's completely dead. So we'll have to test that in a little bit. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is the accuracy of this display. I have my multimeter right here from Ideal. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect voltage positive number 1, which is this first one, and voltage negative number 3, and we'll see what the voltage shows. There and there. And you can see 3.627. And the display on the unit says 3.63. So it is right, it's spot on, perfect. Now let's go ahead and move it over. So I'm using number 2 and number 3. And you can see the voltage is exactly the same. And if I wanted to do 2 and 4, the voltage is the same. So you can use any variety. I can do 1 and 3, I can do 2 and 3, and it's going to give you the voltage that you want, no matter if you're using whichever voltage positive and whichever voltage negative. Okay, this unit also does have a little switch right here, which I believe is kind of like a power switch. But when you switch it, and I don't have any amperage going through the unit right now, but when you switch it, the voltage does drop down. But when I did it, I noticed that it doesn't drop down all the way to 0 and shut off. It kind of just, it drops down to like 1.05 volts. So it's still on, but it's not drawing any power. So I kind of wonder if we can pull any amperage from the unit while if you turn it off also. So let's turn it back on so it gets back up to 3.63. And let's go ahead and increase the amperage. All right, that solves that. Apparently you cannot increase the amperage if there's nothing connected to it. So let's go ahead and wire up the DC side. I've been kind of looking all over the place to find proper wiring for this. It's an 8 amp charger, so I can use like 14 gauge wire. And I was just kind of thinking, I'm like, where can I find 14 gauge wire? Where can I find 14 gauge wire? I have 14 gauge wire sitting right here in front of me in the form of an extension cord. So I'm going to just cut a 5-foot section of extension cord and use the white and black wiring from that from my DC side. So let me go ahead and do that now. All right, well, I've got my DC cable right here. That's actually just an extension cord. And I went ahead and connected my positive and negative little fork connectors. I'm not sure what these are called, I'm sorry. But these are going to be connected to the power supply. And then I went ahead and just started connecting ring terminals on the other side. And you'll notice that I cut off the grounding wire because I have no need for it for this application. So let me go ahead and just crimp on this last ring terminal. And we will go ahead and wire it up to the unit and see if it actually works. All right, our DC cable is ready to go. So let's go ahead and wire it up to the unit. And like I said before, I'm going to go ahead and wire it up to numbers 2 and 3. So your red is positive and your black is negative. All right, we are all wired up. It still shows that it's 1.05 volts at 0 amps. So let's go ahead and just connect these to like a 50 amp hour battery and see if we can get some charge in there. Okay, so now we have our variable voltage charger power supply wired up correctly, and it is now wired to this 50 amp hour UPLUS 12 volt battery. So let's go ahead and switch on the unit so it goes up in voltage. And then we are going to, oh, it shows, actually, it reads the voltage of the battery. So it's showing the voltage as 13.1 right now. So let's see what happens if we increase the amperage. Nothing happens. So let's increase the voltage until it starts changing. And actually, I think I should disconnect the battery first, adjust the voltage to what I want it to, and then connect it back up. So let's do that. All right, yeah, and as soon as we disconnect it, the voltage of the power supply starts lowering back down. All right. And I'm going to try to get it to 13.4. That sounds like a good voltage for this battery. Or actually 13, because 13.6 is, oh wait, 14.6. So let's go ahead and charge it up to 14. That'd be perfect. So we got to change this so it reads 14 volts. There we go. Now let's go ahead and connect the battery back up. All right, it was set to 14 volts. It now reads 13.1. So let's go ahead and increase the amperage. And there you go. The amperage is starting to go up. Let's go ahead and increase it all the way up. because I think it goes all the way up to like 8 amps. So let's just crank it up all the way up to 8 amps. Let's go ahead and put a clamp meter on it to make sure that the amperage is correct. And actually this is showing that we are charging with 8.39 amps. So it's like 0.3 amps higher than what the unit reads. Okay, now let's go ahead and just switch it off to see what happens. Amperage instantly goes down to 0, and the voltage looks like it just drops to whatever the voltage of the connected device is. And then we'll go ahead and switch it back on because I want to charge it up. And it immediately goes back up to 8 amps, and it's charging at 13.8 volts now. Okay, well, I've been sitting here for about 10 minutes, and I did notice that the fan turned on the unit because it's a smart fan, so once it starts getting hot, it will automatically turn on. The battery is still only at 13.47, so what I wanted to try out is if I lower this down to like 13.4, you can see that the amperage goes down as well. So if it gets down to 13.3, it shuts off. So this unit will automatically shut off as soon as it gets closer to the voltage that it's set for. The amperage will slowly go down until it gets to the voltage that you set it at. And once it gets over, probably like if you have it set for 13.9 or whatever, once it gets to that 14, it completely shuts off, and it just kind of keeps it at the voltage that you have set for. So that's pretty nice. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and deplete this battery completely until the BMS shuts off. And then I want to see if this variable voltage power supply will actually wake up a BMS that's in sleep mode because it's been completely depleted. So let me kill this battery and then we'll find that out real quick. Okay, well, I'm back, and I went and I killed this battery to the point it does not have any voltage now. The BMS is now asleep. As you can see, the voltage is only 1 volt. So let's go ahead and take these clamps off, and let's see if I can get this power supply to charge up this battery. Yeah, it's only 1 volt. So let's go ahead and turn it on. And yeah, you can see that it's lowering down right here. But let's go ahead and see if we can crank up the voltage. There's no amps, but let's go ahead and crank it up to like 12 volts and see if it'll actually wake up this battery. Let's see, I cranked it up, and now it does say 10. And look at that. The battery is now at 10.7 volts. So I believe it did actually wake this battery up by pushing a little bit of voltage into it. And now we can move up the amperage, and we can start charging this battery back up. And look at that. Yeah, see, look at that. The battery is already starting to charge back up. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. All right, and there you have it. That's how you wire up and use the DROK variable voltage power supply. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and leave them in the comments. I'll put a link to this in my description so that way you can click on it and see more information. And thanks a lot for watching. You all have a great night. Bye-bye.